Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Political Brown Kid here. Um, Forgive my tone, my disposition. Just trying to get through stuff, get through the holidays. But I just wanted to kind of drop this on you guys. I've promised to do a Hollywood in black and white strictly on Netflix, and so here it is. I'm gonna try to make it as short as possible because I will say this: I will recommend everyone go back and check out all of the Hollywoods in black and white that I've done. What I'm just trying to point out is a recurring theme. It's a recurring theme of black male emasculation or elimination of the black male, period. You can see that they want the black male. They would just rather have us off the planet and just have all black women so they can have their way with them, particularly the light skinned black women with that can pass the comb test, right? And also just, like I said, emasculation of black men. Um, they don't show a nuclear family when it comes to black people, but you get all of that with whites. Or when you see black people together, they're kind of unattractive black people, and I'm just going to put it at that. Like, for example, and I shouldn't say unattractive. Let me just put it this way: past their prime. So they're not considered virile black people, and I'm trying to clean this up. I don't want to be disrespectful. I want to give an example. When you see white families on TV, loving white families, a nuclear family means man, woman, child. You're going to see younger, sexier looking couples. They're going to put those couples together, right? And they're going to have those couples on screen for you to see. They're going to have Bradley Cooper paired with Katniss Everdeen, I forget her real name, and they're going to have their children and their family. But when you see black couples, you're usually going to see like um, Felicia Rashad and Bill Cosby. Now, mind you, Felicia Rashad and Bill Cosby, can't speak for Bill Cosby, but Felicia Rashad was fine. So that's probably like the exception to the rule. She was probably one of the more attractive in her prime, you know, mothers that you saw on television. But as you move forward, then all you saw were like the older, black people that weren't like really, you didn't look at them as being sexy. You just looked at them as being mothers. They were still attractive, but they were just mothers or fathers, like Aunt Viv, Uncle Phil. And then you'll see Harriet and Carl Winslow. You'll see those type of older black people that they just put on the television screen. So with that being said, I want to dive right into this. I just want to give you a rundown when you look at these movies. And it's a movie that I forgot so I'll start off with this one movie. It's a movie that it starred, I forget the guy's name, but it's a space movie on Netflix. The movie's The Midnight Sky, starring George Clooney. So let me just start there. The Midnight Sky, and by the way, also too, these are all going to be spoiler alerts for Netflix. So if you don't want to hear it, don't listen to it. I'm keeping it very high level because I have several Netflix shows to review. So the Midnight Sky stars George Clooney, and it's really a space movie, and it's probably really about 9 characters mainly in this movie. It's George Clooney, and then there's like 7 astronauts that are on this spaceship out in space. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because of this. There's a black male on the show. He's one of the astronauts. So George Clooney, I think he's off on this planet, and then the astronauts are floating around up in space, these 7 or 8 astronauts. And so this black guy, I think it's David Olo, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Sorry about that. But he's, I think, married to a white female. So once again, they never pair up the black. There's 2 black people on this ship. It's one light-skinned black woman. So you know they ain't going to pair the brother up with her. But so they pair him up with this white woman. And then the light-skinned black female, she's on there, but she's kind of gravitated towards this, I think it's an Asian man, not in a relationship type way, but there's this kind of loving kind of vibe that you get between these two. I think he looks at her more like a daughter figure, but these 2 black people don't even interact. They don't even have dialogue together there's only like 8 astronauts on this ship. The one interaction that they do have, I think he's fussing at her. Once again, every time you see a black interaction, it's always antagonistic. I don't even know if the what was the movie that, because you never see Zendaya with a black man, not in her personal life or in movies. And when she starred in it with Denzel Washington's son, I don't know if that was a Netflix show or not, but I'll plug that one in here as well. Mind you, it's only two characters in that whole entire movie. Them two. Maybe one person popped in temporary. I don't know. But it's only two characters in that movie, and they spend the whole movie in the house, right, preparing to go to this award show. They spend half the time arguing. Yeah, they had an interaction, an intimate encounter, but they spent most of the time in there arguing and fighting. It was cantankerous, it was adversarial, and then, in between here and there, they got in a few love, smooches here and there, but it ended on I think, an adversarial note. These are the things that they do to us in movies. And no wonder we have, like, these images, people try to say, well, yeah, but that's not the real world. What you have to understand is all of this stuff gets imprinted into your brain. What you see in the media, that's why, like I told you, it's important that you control the government, the military, and the media. And governments know this. That's why they filter what you can and can't read and or see. So when you start getting all of this stuff coming into your brain, that's why you see all black women saying, all black men want to do is marry a white woman. And that's why you hear all black men saying, yeah, all black women, they act this way, or they don't want us, or they don't do this, that, and the third. And then that's why other people have a particular perception of us that, that they can do whatever they want to us. These are the things that are going on. So that was the one movie, The Midnight Sky. So let me just keep this going real quick, because I'm going to try to get through all of this. I've just started season 3 of The Witcher, but this, I think, was occurring throughout The Witcher before. And I think it's on episode, I'm on 3 or 4. It's a black female, once again, like I told you, a light-skinned black female. They always do it. They always put the light-skinned black female with a white man. And the episode that I watch is season 3. Like I said, this is probably it's either episode 2, 3, or 4. She's in there whooping him. It's almost sexual in nature. Like he's tied up, strapped to this kind of like dominatrix type machine, and she's behind him, whooping him, giving him lashes like he was a slave. So they're trying to reverse the roles. And so then, there's kind of like this dominatrix type vibe you're getting. It's sexual in nature. And I think they're a couple. So and then also too, you never see black men in these shows. There's a subconscious thing, or it's conscious with these people, to say that we don't want black men around. Our vision for the future, or the world that we would love to live in, is to have all of these black women doing God knows what, acting like Halle Berry, make me feel good in Monsters Ball, and they get to have their way sexually with them, and there's no black men in sight. Or we're just slaves. They would rather do that to us. So the other show too that I'm trying to look at. So I'm just brought up The Witcher. And I think we're going to go on in The Witcher 2 for a while as well. There was a show called Always a Witch. The synopsis, never saw the show, but I read the synopsis, saw the trailer. What this show is about, it's a black female, I think in the 1700s. I think she was in the 1700s. She gets transported in time. I don't know whether it was to the future or whatever. But look it up. The show is called Always a Witch. She's a black female. She was a witch, and I think she travels through time to get back to her lover, who's a white male, who's the son of a slaveholder. I don't make this stuff up. It's the same thing. Like I just posted y'all the video on my site, which nobody wants to look at, when with these girls that go to the ghetto bagger stuff. I just posted a scene or a snippet of a video capture of showing black women performing sexual acts with guys dressed in Ku Klux Klan uniforms and or wearing Confederate flag t-shirts, and they're participating in like one on many. She's the only one there, and she's servicing many people. And this is what this Always witch stuff is like. They love projecting black people from slave times being in love with their captors. Stockholm. Just watch the show Obliterated. So let's talk about Obliterated. Good show, by the way. I'll mention that because I'm only on episode 5. I just wrapped up episode 5. But right away, you can see how this show is going. You have the one white guy, I guess he's going to be the next new Brad Pitt. He's got the nice abs, the nice body, the blonde hair. He's the Aryan boy. And as soon as the show opens up, the Asian girl is oogling over him. She's just like, and then they got a black guy. He's bigger than this guy, but he doesn't have the abs that this guy has, but they kind of similar muscular build, but he doesn't have as flat a stomach as the white guy. But she's not oogling over the black guy. Matter of fact, none of the women are oogling over the black guy, but they're oogling over the white guy. And that's the first thing that the show starts off. Like the show's not even on 10 minutes and she's oogling over him. And so also too, and then he gets to have his way with the hot chick on the show. So that's another story, and that sets up a kind of dynamic between him, the Asian girl, and the other hot chick. But then guess what happens? And like I said, early on, the black guy goes to him and says, "Hey man, I got to tell you something. I really need to have a talk with you." So he said, "Not right now, not right now." So come to find out, the white guy had to go to the bathroom. So he goes to the bathroom and he sees the black guy in the shower. He opens up the shower door to say something to him, and the black guy like, "No, man, no." He's like startled, telling him no. And then come to find out, the black guy is in there getting serviced by, I think, a young Asian guy or a young white guy, a non-black guy. So once again, the black guy is homosexualized. The emasculation of the black guy, we're feminized. The only black character on the show, black male, and he's gay. That's what they do. And then in episode 5, to fast forward, they have him tied up. The black guy gets captured by the Russian enemies. And what they're going to do is they're going to stick a rod. It's a slender rod up the shaft of the shaft of his penis hole, urethra. And then if they press this button on this rod, some spikes will come out and start turning. So basically, they're going to try to shred up his manhood. Once again, like I keep telling y'all, if you notice with all of these shows, they did it. If you watch Game of Thrones, the only black character on the show, and he had no penis. All of the black soldiers, all of them were castrated. They love castrating a black man. And they were going to do the same thing to this black guy on this show, Obliterated. So not only is he gay, and so thus effeminized or feminine, emasculated, what I want to say, but now he's also going to be castrated. Let's move on down the list because I got a few more and I'm going to try to wrap this up. To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I actually watched this movie a couple of years ago when it first came out. So this is a young teenage, like for young teenage kids, teenage girls particularly, I guess. It's I think she's an Asian girl, and she's looking at all of the boyfriends that she had in the past, and I think she wants to catch back up with them. I forget for whatever reason. It's been so long since I've seen this. I don't know if she wants to ask them, like about her, like give her feedback on herself, or I don't know what was her purpose of going back to each of her boyfriends. So she had boyfriends of various ethnicities, and one of the boyfriends was a black guy. So guess what? When she catches back up with him a couple of years down the road, guess what he is? You guessed it, he's gay. I don't make this up. Like I tell people, y'all think that I make stuff up, but I actually do not. So once again, he's emasculated. White characters just fine. Fall of the House of Usher. Let's talk. I just finished watching. I didn't enjoy it at all. People, they give it rave ratings. I fast forwarded through. It was just too slow, and I really didn't care for it. But once again, Fall of the House of Usher. Not one black man in sight. There's 2 black women. There's a dark-skinned black female with, she can't pass the brown paper. She has coarse hair, but it's cut very low. So they just treat her like a regular character. She has no love interest, no nothing. Because, of course, that's how they're going to do dark-skinned blacks with negroid features. So she's just kind of there in the wind. But, of course, the light-skinned black woman that can pass the brown paper bag and comb test, She's married to a white man, and they got a beautiful black daughter who's got a caramel complexion, long, wavy hair, and she loves her white parental side. Don't see any of her black family around. Don't the mother's there. Something happens to the mother. I'm not going to give that away. But matter of fact, the mother's brother-in-law was trying to kind of hit on her a little bit and invited her to an adult party where you all can get down how you want to get down, so you all can know what I'm trying to talk about. And she accepted the invitation. The only black girl walking through there amongst all of them good Christian white folks. I don't make this stuff up. Like I told you, it's the sexualization of black females, particularly the light-skinned black females. So that's all I'm going to say about the fall of the House of Usher. Leave the World Behind. I just did a whole review on that, so I'm not even going to go back through that again, or maybe I should. But just to be real quick, once again, a black man, Mahershala Ali, shows up with his daughter, and of course she's a light-skinned black, passes the comb test. And of course, his wife is nowhere in sight. He has an excuse for his wife. Oh, she's out of the country. They always show black families as dysfunctional. Even though they say he's married, yes, he is married, but his wife is somewhere. They never show them together, holding hands, making love, kissing, looking in each other's eyes in a loving manner. It's just him and his daughter. And then she goes, changes her clothes, and parades out in front of all of these white people in a two-piece bathing suit. And then the young white boy is just oogling over her. He's in the pool, probably hard as a rock. And he's just snapping pictures of her while she's sitting down sunbathing. And he's snapping butt shots, all kind of shots. And then he takes the pictures back and he has a little happy time with himself in his bed late at night to her pictures. And then she's sitting outside with the boy's father, talking to him about, yeah, I bet you he don't have problems with the women. And then she starts talking crazy with her father, Mahershala Ali. I've never known any black girl to tell their daddy, yeah, I think so-and-so wants to F me. What black girl says that to their father? Maybe it's a different time. I've never known it to happen. But let's keep this moving because I'm already way over my time, and I know y'all probably tired of hearing me rant. Leo, that's an animated movie. Now, you guys are going to say, why is Leo on the list? The reason why I'm putting Leo on the list is because of this. What I've noticed, if you notice in animated movies, look at how they do number one, you're never going to see an all-black animated movie. They gave you an all-black Latino movie in Encanto. This, mind you, I'm going to set the stage. This is outside of Netflix. This is, I think, Disney movie or something else. But they'll give you an all-Latin Encanto. They'll give you an all-Samoan Moana. They'll give you an all Indian animation movie. When they do black movies, they always have to lighten us up. They gave you Princess and the Frog with Brandy, and her love interest couldn't be a white guy because he always got to pair a black woman up with a white man. So they paired her up with, I think, like a Latin boy or a white guy. They just did that little Halle Bailey or whatever her name, Chloe Bailey, just played the Little Mermaid. Her interest was a white guy. They never do movies, animated or not, where they show black love. They just don't. And the other thing I'm getting at with this Leo movie is this. If you watch this movie Leo, it's about a little, was it a frog? No, it wasn't a frog. It was one of them little slow-moving creatures. I forget, the slow lizard. And this lizard can talk to children. So all of the children in the class take turns taking him home because they find out that he can talk and they think that he's only talking exclusively to them and it's a secret and they can't tell the other kids, but multiple kids are talking to this lizard. So this one girl, she's actually a rich snobby girl. She's like the mean girl of the show. She's like the rich snobby cool chick. She takes the lizard home. Now, her mother is built like a black woman, hips like a black woman, butt like a black woman, lips like a black woman. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because of this. When you watch movies like, if you see Despicable Me 1 and 2, and even 3, I think they show very quick shots. They'll show like a big heavy set, like when they make black people in animation movies, they're big, heavy set, big lips, big broad nose. They're just not attractive characters. Not unless the character is in the love interest with a white character. Because then there's a very quick shot in Despicable Me where they show the white guy on the beach, and he's surrounded by a bunch of nice looking women on the beach, and one of those women is black. And of course, she's attractive. It's very quick if you look at it. I think it's in the beginning. And they always over exaggerate our features in movies. They make us super big. Like if you watch Despicable Me, super big. But in movies like Leo, when they show a white woman, she never has no lips or very thin lips. She never has a flat back, pancake backside. She's always very voluptuous. So I just wanted to point that out. Outer Banks is the next one. Watch Outer Banks. Once again, you have a black guy. I only watched season 1, so I don't know what they're doing now. But in season 1, I can tell you this. The black guy that was on there, total nerd. I guess they're trying to kill the stereotype that black people are thugs and this, that, and third. Get it. But they go to one extreme. They make us, so they say, well, you're not going to be the thug. You'll just be the nerdy computer scientist who has zero interest, who's an asexual character. You're not interested in women or girls at all. And then you have 2 young white guys who's the black guy's friend, and they're all pursuing this one black girl. And once again, she's a light-skinned black with nice hair. I don't make this up. So once again, the recurring theme is everyone pursues these young, light-skinned black females. Go watch Outer Banks. Start from season 1. And then the black guy doesn't even have interest in being with the girl. He ain't even trying. But the 2 white boys, they putting their bid in. Let's go. We can talk about Bridgerton and Queen Charlotte all in one. Once again, never seen them. But once again, they glamorize these black women during the slave period. Like black people just had it so fantastical during these days. And it's a beautiful love story about how this black queen, this black princess, rose and fell in love with white royalty. They don't do it. Where the black men at? They don't have these beautiful black women falling in love with white black men. They put them with the white man. I put Queen's Gambit on the list. I'm going to talk about Queen's Gambit. There was nothing wrong. Queen's Gambit actually was a nice movie, a nice limited series. Let me say limited series because that's what it was. The problem I had with Queen's Gambit was this. So if anyone has seen Queen's Gambit, everyone knows that Queen's Gambit, it follows this girl who started off living in a group home or foster home, whatever you want to call it. I think foster home. Yeah, it wasn't a group home because they were getting adopted. So she started off in this foster home or orphanage, whatever you want to call it. This movie is based on, I guess, this girl chess prodigy. So when she was young, she got addicted to these hallucinogenic type drugs, but it was a young black girl. She was slightly older black girl that was in there who befriended her in the orphanage. But the white girl gets adopted because she's a child prodigy at chess. She becomes this big chess star years later or whatever. So at the end, she meets back up with the black female. The black female shows up driving this very nice car because she's going to take, and then she loaned the white girl because I think the white girl needed some money. So she loans the white girl some money, I guess, to go to Russia to play in this chess match. So then the white girl asks her, and I think it's Anya Taylor-Joy. I think that's how you say her name. I could be wrong on that. So that's the white girl. She says to the black female, how'd you get this nice car? And then she's just like, yeah, my boyfriend, she insinuates, I think either she said her boss, she's banging her boss and her boss is black. And, she's basically banging the boss. And, and her boss buys her all these nice stuff. And so then the white girl says, aren't you a member of the Black Panthers or something like that? And so then the black girl's like, okay, whatever, screw them. If they can't take a joke, the hell with them. So it's basically they insinuate that the black girl, even though she's militant, she's sleeping and banging white men. Don't make this stuff up. Let's move on. Vikings Valhalla. The problem I have with Vikings Valhalla is I think I'm not going to totally say that there was no black men in this, because that would probably be an exaggeration, because I can't totally recall. But they were probably like in the background. They were like extras. They weren't. Well, matter of fact, I think there was one, but he was like an assassin or something. Like he was one of the soldiers or whatever. But he didn't really have a role. What I'm focusing on is the fact that the leader in Vikings Valhalla, at least season one, was a black female. And I don't know how she got this role. I think maybe she was married to the king and that joker died and she inherited the throne. I don't know. But this black female with this mulatto daughter, so obviously they're trying to insinuate that her husband, or, her intimate partner was white, because they made the daughter lighter than her, and she was already relatively light. So once again, no black men. These women aren't, even back in those days when there really was not a whole lot of interracial stuff going on. You got black women still making their way to white men, jumping past all of the other black men to make it to a white man. I don't make this stuff up. There's a show called Bodies. It's a time travel type show. So I'm moving on to the show called Bodies. And the problem that I have with the show Bodies is the fact that within this show, there's one of the characters in one of the time periods is a black female. This is a London-based or UK-based show. She's a black female, and she has a mulatto daughter because she's married to, or I think she has relations married to, I don't know what this relationship is with this person, but I think it's an Indian guy. So once again, these black women just can't find their way and be paired up with a white man in these movies. They don't want to do that. But let's keep going. The final show that I'm going to talk about, and it's actually about 5 shows that I'm going to point out from this series on Netflix, is Black Mirror. So Black Mirror, once again, they kind of follow that pattern. When you look at Striking Vipers starred the guy that plays in the Marvel movies. I don't even know his name. And then I think it's also the other guy that's playing in there too, is the guy that played M'Baku from Black Panther. From Black Panther 1 and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. The show basically, with Striking Vipers, these 2 black men are playing a video game. So they log in on kind of like you're in the virtual world and you have your virtual headsets on and you're playing these video games. So they log in, play the video game with their buddy. Next thing you know it, they're banging each other in the virtual world. And then they kind of look at each other like, man, I can't believe that happened. And so now they make it a point where they get together, and every time they start playing this video game, it always leads to them having sexual relations with one another. So the one black guy's wife finds out about it. She is upset and, I think she's a little disturbed or perturbed about it. And so what she does is, I think ultimately in the end, so spoiler alert, she winds up, I think every year he gets to have a pass where he gets to log onto the game one time a year, and he gets to have relations with his friend on the video game. So they homosexualize the black man, and once again, he's on the down low because he has a wife. I skipped over Rustin. So Rustin kind of ties in. So I know I'm starting Black Mirror, but let me jump back to Rustin. Rustin is a movie actually based on, because it ties in with this Striking Vipers episode. Rustin is also on Netflix. It stars the guy from Fear the Walking Dead, black guy, I forget his name, but he's a very good actor. And they basically, it's a true story based on I forget his first name, but his last name is Rustin. He helped organize the March on Washington. He was a gay black male. So that part is factual. The part that I have a problem with in the movie Rustin, and it's a very beautifully done movie. It is a well done movie. I like the movie. Let's get that. But I had to Google and look up some facts, because what they did was they paired him. They basically said inside in this movie, one of the subplots is he's having this. There's this one preacher who's in there, and of course he's a black male preacher. He meets Rustin, and automatically he's kind of intrigued by Rustin and sexually drawn to him. So Rustin kind of gets him to gives him his first, I guess, homosexual relationship experience, or his first homosexual experience, and they become lovers. And then the guy's wife finds out about it. And then ultimately she calls Rustin. Towards the end of the movie, she calls Rustin and lets Rustin know that she's having a baby and that her husband will not be participating in the March on Washington. Well, excuse me, y'all. If y'all can hear these fireworks, they're doing fireworks. And I hope you can't hear it, but I'm pretty sure you probably can because they're loud as hell. So let me just keep going. But what I found out was that scene is actually false. There was never any character that exists by that. So what I'm just trying to figure out was this was a beautifully done movie. Why did they feel the need to homosexualize a black male and put him on the down low? And what makes it even worse is that the movie was written and directed by black people. It was one white guy involved. But why, if you two other black people who are writing and directing this, you can't override, even if it was the white guy's idea. I'm just hypothesizing, saying a white guy wanted this in. You couldn't tell him, no, we're not putting this scene in this movie. We're not doing that. Why did they need to do this fictional thing where they sexualize the black man in the closet who's a preacher? Don't understand that. But back to Black Mirror, I talked about Striking Vipers, which is that same theme, black man on the down low. There was another show, Lock Henry. That is basically where there's a mulatto character in an interracial relationship. He's a light-skinned black, like I said, passed the brown paper bag and hair comb test. And she's in I think this was season 5 that Lock Henry was done. So if you want to check out Lock Henry, check that. No, it was season 6, the last season. Lock Henry was actually, I think, the last season. So always there's no black man to be found, but these light-skinned black women, they can find their way to a white man. Hang the DJ, similar thing. Basically, these two, it was a black female, once again, light-skinned black woman. She's with a white man. They're pairing each other through dating apps, and the dating app tells you what the probability is that y'all are a match, and the probability is that y'all will work out. So she meets this one guy. I think they start dating, but then the algorithms keep switching up and tells them to date other people or do something. But I think they're still drawn to one another. She's not drawn to a black man. A black man not nowhere in sight, but she's drawn and paired up with all these white men. Let's go on to Black Museum, another Black Mirror show. That stars actually the girl, what's his name? The Black Panther's sister. I forgot her name. I can't even think of these people's names. But yeah, the tech genius in Black Panther and Black Panther Wakanda Forever stars her. The only problem I have, this was the only thing I want to touch on with this is when they do put a black woman in these movies, sometimes they either give them a white love interest or they give them no love interest at all. And this is one of those scenarios where no love interest at all. She's just there because there's a mission that she's trying to do. There's some things going down and it's revealed in the end. I'm not going to give it away. But she's just there. They don't give her a black man on her arm. They don't give her a black love interest, no nothing. And then finally, there's San Junipero. Now, once again, this one goes back to the same running theme where you have a light-skinned black female in love with, no, she's not actually in love with she's actually not in love with a white man. She's in love with a white woman. So they'll tell you what they're basically saying to us is this, that black women should not be with a black man at all. You should either be with a white man, and if it don't work out with you and a white man, turn gay and be with a white woman before you even think about being with a black man. That's what I'm getting. So in San Junipero, I think that was season 2 or season 3? I think it was season 2. I don't know. That was supposed to be one of the best. To be honest with you, I hated the show. Number one, anything with this LGBTQ gear is going to get an Emmy or an Oscar. They claimed that this was one of the best episodes of Black Mirror, and to me, it was horrible. It was one of the worst. But basically, it's where these two interracial, these two people, these two females, they love each other, but I guess they can't really express that love because I think the time period that they're in, but, love wins out. And, they meet each other and they have this fling, and I think it occurs in San Junipero. But once again, light-skinned black woman, got to be with somebody that's not black. She couldn't even be with another black woman. They put her with a white woman. So that's my rundown. I told you I was going to do Netflix. I know it was long, but just bear with me. Do apologize, but I just want to show y'all, man, that these platforms, they're not doing stuff that's trying to make our minds geared towards being with one another. That's why you see nowadays, you see so many black women saying, I want a white man. You got K. Michelle, she's been hollering this trash for years. And she's just so unruly and negative that I don't know who would be with her. You got all of these women. Tiffany Haddish came out doing it. Where the white man at? Where the white man? She even kissed the white man on the white man she didn't even know on one of them late night talk shows. Just let a white man throw his tongue all down her mouth. Halle Berry did the same thing when she got that Oscar. One of them Brolin brothers went up there. I think it was the one that played in the Predators movie. Went up there and threw his tongue all down her throat. Nobody says anything about that. No means no. You don't see him being brought up on any or being canceled. All of this stuff is just insane. And when we as a race keep talking about, I don't care who you love who you love, it is stupidity. We should be trying to love and trying to fix why we are so antagonistic and hate one another. You have to say, why do we hate one another that we don't even want to be with one another? That's what you should be working on, building better and stronger black families. And these movies sink into your mind, and all they do is make it more comfortable for people to venture out and not want to be with their own because they see other things going on and they want to experiment and be like the movies and think they're going to ride off into the sunset with a white man. Well, that's all I have to say. This is the Political Brown Kid. This will probably be the last one I'll ever do because I'm going to drop another video on you guys and it'll explain why.